Hello, hello. We will see. How are you? Can you hear me?
Wait, I can't. Wait, wait.
Oh,
Oh,
there you
wait,
are.
wait, wait, wait. I don't hear you.
You
Hold on
don't
just
hear
a
me?
minute. There, now I hear you. I'm sorry.
All right, there we
Took-
go. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? All
I'm
right.
good.
So I just want to fill in really quick what I've decided or what I wanted to do this coming month because all of um, you educators that are part of the school, I just wanted to do a quick brief intro with everyone so that people have something to go to. Um,
Perfect.
and it's kind of appropriate to start with you because you were the first online instructor years ago. So, um, Latifa and this is Latifa Meena. She is and by the way, just for everyone who's watching that might not know, I'm Dara Forleo. I do own the Whole Pet Grooming Academy. And Latifa has been part of the school since the very beginning. I think we started your classes the first year, and she was the first online diploma program that we had for animal communication.
Yep.
So Latifa and I go back years.
Yeah, it's
Gosh,
been a while. Yeah.
2007. I think that we met virtually
Yep.
when
Yep.
things were why don't you tell me a little bit, I know, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got into this?
I used to show horses way back years, 20 something years ago. And I had a problem with a horse in the barn, and somebody said, "You should have an animal communicator come talk to your horse." And I was like, "You're kind of crazy." Okay. And I just left it at that. I went home that night, and there was somebody on TV that actually was like, "Oh, I'm an animal communicator," and they featured her and everything else. And I was like, "Okay, this is way too coincidental." So I hired her, I brought her out, she knew things, and it just took off from there. It took me about 4 years, but after that, it just sort of showed up for me. I took some workshops, and out of the blue, it just started happening for me. And nobody's more surprised that I do this than me. I used to be a computer geek.
I
So
was going to just
I,
about say, you walked away
yeah.
from a six-figure job to
Oh, yeah.
be, or a
Oh, yeah.
six-figure career to be an animal
Yeah.
communicator.
Yeah.
I
I was
mean,
an
how
IT.
rewarding has it been to do that?
There's no comparison. It's so much emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical rewards in doing the communication piece. I get so many emails from my clients. Oh my God, Bunny is so much more happier. Things are so much more better. Buddy doesn't do this anymore. So it's really rewarding to know that I'm able to make such an impact, a great impact and difference in a lot of people's lives and the animals. Um, I did an event last night and got doggy kisses from everybody. And so being able to be in that type of an environment, loving the animals, being around them, being with them is just fulfilling for me. It's just really rewarding. And I'm blessed. I'm just able to do this, and I'm just blessed. And I'm blessed to be able to teach others how to do this as well.
I was just going to say, I mean, where do you find your inspiration? How did this?
It's I think for me, I didn't even know this was possible. I mean, I didn't even know that this was doable or possible, that we could communicate, that we could help the animals like we help them. And when I started off doing this, I don't really think I understood what I was getting into. And now I have tigers and mountain lion cougars and raccoons and all types of animals, breeds, and species. And the more that I get to meet all different types of animals, the more inspired I am, the more emotional it becomes for me. And I'm learning that it's not just the dogs and cats and horses, the wildlife has a great lesson to teach us about those that are in captivity, how they live in the wildlife, their needs, their emotions, their wants, and how they feel about all that. So the more that I do this, the more that I learn, the more I'm just re-energized every day after I talk to my animals. It's fabulous.
So just out, how many clients, customers do you have right now? I mean, you've been doing this how long?
Well, I started in 2006 as a professional.
Mhm.
And so what are we now? 17 years?
17 years.
Something like that. Something like that. 16, 17 years. Um, my clients are all over the world. I have just about every state. And then I've got clients in Japan and Denmark and um, Iran. I've got them just about everywhere. Um, and it's very interesting because the needs are the same. It doesn't matter the animal where you live, the owners are the same. The most common questions I get are,
I
do
was
they
gonna
know
ask
how
what
much I love them? Yeah. Do
do
they
they
know how
know?
much I love them? And what can I do for them? And what do they need? And I think one of the biggest impacts that I make is when an animal's in the death and dying process and when an animal is ready to cross or transition. Being able to help that decision making and help that process has become more rewarding than I could have ever dreamed about. It gives peace to the animals, it gives peace and comfort to the humans, and it is one of the greatest journey things that I've ever been able to do is make just give that peace and the gratitude of mom wants to say thank you for being here, and they're like, yes, thanks for the journey and thank you for everything. I'm ready to leave, I need to go, it's okay. Helping people to understand how the animals feel about the death and dying process, that's been a gigantic education piece.
Mhm.
And so there's so much, and it's not just I need more cookies or I need more cheese. It gets into mental, emotional, physical, spiritual jobs. Why is an animal depressed? Why are they not doing something? What can we do to help them make them better? So it's not just all fluff. It can get very serious and it can be very rewarding to help an animal realize, oh, if we change this and do this, we can change the jobs and you can do this better. So it's been amazing and I'm still continuing to learn, which is fabulous.
How, and now this goes, so we have this program, we've got 6
Yep.
classes that you're teaching all the way through. We've had 3 graduating classes. I'm about to sneeze, sorry.
Oh,
Trying to fight that too, but
wait, we had four. We've
4
had one
graduating classes and 1 right now, getting ready
for
to.
this, yeah, fifth one, yes. She'll graduate here in another two weeks or so. Yeah. Yep.
And other classes. So now you're not just teaching this as being a professional animal communicator, but we also have, or I say we, but you have some
Yeah.
seminars to help groomers better understand
Yeah.
the animals on their table as well. So this reaches out a little bit more than just being a professional animal communicator with these other classes that we have.
Right. And it's
Um,
just they don't have to learn animal communication. They just have to be aware of their words and energy, which can make a difference on the animal on the table. Absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
So for you saying you're continuing your education, where do you go to get more?
Um, I
How do
learn
you
more of,
learn more?
yeah, it's the metaphysical piece that I learn more.
Okay.
And the animals teach me. So when I have a session with an animal that sometimes turns into a teaching moment for me, about how an animal, um, the journey, and we step out of really communication piece into the metaphysical side. We get into learning what a journey is. What are the life jobs we're supposed to be learning? What are the life lessons? How do we deal with those things about the soul spirit? So I'm still continuing to learn about how the universe works
Oh,
and how I'm always learning something. I'm always the animals are always sharing new things. I take other seminars, I do take workshops, I take other metaphysical classes.
Mhm.
There's a brand new one for releasing emotional traumas and emotional garbage off the body. And it's I've had it done to me, and actually had one of my cats had it done. And it's I'm just learning that there's new methodologies and new ways to do this every day. And all it does is it gives you additional tools. And not that all of them work for you, and not that all of them are meant for you, but the more you learn, the more you can pick and choose and have a better variety to do the work with.
Mhm. Very
I
interesting.
know,
I
Mark.
was wondering about that. I know you do a lot
Yeah.
of workshops and seminars too, and at
Oh yeah.
you do have trade shows and events and fairs, so it's not just core. What has been some of the challenges that you've found as you've
Uh,
progressed over the last 17 years?
well, it's been a process. I mean, it's been a journey and a process, and that's going to continue. I mean, that process is going to continue, and the journey is going to continue. I'm learning. I've got clients now with cubs that are cougar mountain lion cubs,
I
and they
have
have a
pictures.
tiger. And the tiger, yes, the tiger is so different than the cubs, and the cougars feel different. They think different. They It's just interesting to have this new breed species because they look at things differently than the tiger does. And so the more I'm able to chat with and make connections with different types of, I mean, I've had bearded dragons and snakes and mice and fish, and I don't think there's an animal I probably haven't done. But they're all different, and it's interesting to me how their energy's different. And I learn from that because it may be something that another animal wants to talk about and doesn't know how to talk about. But once I've had an experience, I know how to bring it up, or I know how to mention, have you thought about this or thought about that? So it's always a learning process for me. Always.
Mhm.
I'm grateful for that.
How about with people?
I do sessions with the people. It's sort of kind of go hand in hand. So, um there's so much terminology between psychic, clairvoyant, medium, all those different things. I'm able to connect with the animals who are here and the animals that are crossed, and the humans that are here and the humans that are crossed. So I can chat with anybody who is passed over. I can be the medium, I can be the connection. A lot of people will ask me, am I on the right path? What do you see coming down the road for me?
Mhm.
Um, what is it I need to be doing different? And a lot of people want closure in talking with somebody on the other side. And so I need to talk to my dad or my mom. And sometimes when I'm doing just an animal session, that will show up. Somebody from the other side, human, may show up, or the animal just may show up. I've really learned that everything that I do in a session is for the highest good of all concerned. And I allow myself to be open for whatever those messages are that need to come in from a person, the animal, or spirit, whatever that happens to be. And I don't pigeonhole or put boundaries or limits or blinkers, that word,
Mhm.
blinkers, on.
Yep.
I'm just here.
Yep.
I'm just available to allow whatever the universe needs me to do. And I don't do this work without God, source, and universe. I'm spiritual, not religious, but I don't do this work without that team behind me. You cannot do this without them.
It's so fascinating. It's
Yeah,
even though I've
different.
known you for so long, we definitely have a different relationship and
Yeah.
um a different bond than
Yeah.
and it's fascinating, and every time it's something new. It's always something new.
It's always
I can
something new.
probably answer the question, but I'm gonna ask it because 'cause I'm sure there are
Yeah.
people. What has been the or who has been the neatest, coolest conversation creature wise?
Oh wow. Um, there's been a few, like, I've had some very, very wicked conversations with just plain domestic dogs that are so old soul, meaning they've been reborn several times, they've been here and done that. But they've been able to share a lot of how the reincarnation works and how the trips around the sun work. And I found those to be very fascinating for me. Um, I think being up close with Emma, the tiger,
Mhm.
is one of the things for me that's been most rewarding. I don't often have an animal move me to tears, but I have looked into her. I've sat, I don't go in the pen with her, but I'm right at the fence and she'll come and she'll give me kisses, and she does that cuddle purr thing, and she'll sit there and she looks straight deep into my soul. And it's one of the most connective experiences I've ever had with an animal. She
Mm.
is just so in the moment present, and she's not self-centered. She is not, it's all about me. She's a very healing animal and a very loving animal. um I've had a few with bearded dragons that have been interesting. um they're not
Wouldn't consider.
exactly that chatty. Yeah, but some of them are. It's I once had a King St. Charles Spaniel tell me he was the King of England. And I'm like, yeah,
I
really?
see
And
that.
or King of Egypt, I think, one of the kings. And I was like, well, you're a dog now, so it's different now.
It's different now. I guess could pick a better breed to come back as if he thought he was the king.
Yeah,
So,
what I'm going to be a king, and I thought he was still going to be a king, and I'm like, no, that's not the same king. So, so
and then I
for
think
me,
my favorite story is when you went and got to talk to John Henry.
yes, he when he
So
was
for our
living,
viewers that don't know, John Henry is a very famous, and for those who know me, racehorse. And
yes, very
she got to go
famous.
see John Henry.
Yeah, I live in Louisville, Kentucky, so in Lexington at the Kentucky Horse Park is where most of the famous racehorses retire. And I have a very dear friends off the track, and they they knew the groom that took care of him. So we would go out and I would get to be in his stall and see him and be with him. But the greatest thing about John Henry was when you went to address him, you had to address him as John Henry, the greatest racehorse that ever lived, even greater than Secretary. And if you did not address him in that manner, he was not.
That's just sorry.
Yeah. It, and Cigar, he was stabled
Mhm.
right next to Cigar, the
Yeah.
like stalls, and they would be
And
like
DeHaas
two
was on
old.
the other side.
Yep. And they'd be old men sitting on the porch smoking a cigar, just talking about, well, when I ran that race, I beat you by that. And yeah, but I came back and beat you. I mean, it was just the camaraderie that they had was just fabulous. It was like they really had a kinship. And
Mhm.
to be able to see animals enjoy that kind of relationship, especially in retirement, was fascinating. They had raccoons in his paddock, and he asked why did they remove the raccoons, and I had to tell him, well, the raccoon poop can create what they call EPM. It can be a neurological disease that happens in an animal, in a horse. And John Henry replied to me, he's like, well, I'm not that stupid to eat their poop.
But
Like, why don't being human?
yeah.
So, so he was very fascinating. But we asked him, one question we really asked him was, he started out very young to be kind of nice and gentle, and then in one fell swoop he changed. and became very mean
Nasty.
and was very nasty on the ground.
Yeah.
And I asked him what made him change. And he said, I saw them hurt and kill another horse in the barn, another racehorse. And from that moment forward, he said that was not going to happen to me. And it made him one of the strongest racehorses because he felt if he could continue to um, prove his worthiness and race and earn the money, he would not be hurt or killed, and that he would again have his retirement, which he did. And so it shaped him. That event shaped him extremely early on, and only certain people could be around him without him being a real bully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
That
strong individual.
is
Yeah.
true. Um, so how about I just want to ask and see, how are your graduates? What are what are some of them
um
doing? We've had quite a few big
so
classes.
yeah,
We've
the
got
so I have Jenny is one of my graduates. She does this on a full-time professional basis. She
oh,
also
and she
manages
was in the
horse.
thoroughbred industry also.
Right, she still manages a horse farm out in Versailles,
Okay.
Kentucky.
Yep.
She has clients around the world as well. She's becoming very well known. I have Deb in Missouri,
Mhm.
and as soon as she's doing this part-time professionally, she does charge. She's going to retire from her IT like me, like I did, and do this full time. She'll become full time with this. I have Tina, who is probably going to end up when she retires from the school district doing energy work and metaphysicals and readings. And I have another lady who, Julie, up in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, who does this. She doesn't do it professionally, but she uses it for the barn and for her own animals. A lot of the people that have come through class have really taken it for their own personal purposes because it's not just animal communication. It's a metaphysical journey that allows you to understand how you can do your own healing and how to heal the things that you need to heal. Because you cannot be talking with an animal in the moment and tell them they got to fix this when you're not able to fix your stuff, or you're not
Right.
willing to at least try. And
Yeah.
so most of my graduates have done a lot of healing. They have changed their life. They live a better, more peaceful existence. The journey's different. They don't get as stressed as much. But I would tell you, most of the people who take this class really do it for their own personal use. And some are going to do this professionally, and some are, but a lot of people like the fact they're doing it for them. They want to do it to make their own animals, the relationship better, help the animals when they can. My girl now, Autumn, my one that's going to graduate, she's going to end up doing this professionally. It's going to be a little bit of time, but she's going to become metaphysical, and she's already there. So it's been very rewarding to watch these individuals change, to watch them grow and to do their own healing. And it's there's no I don't there's just not a word in our language how appreciative and special that is, how honored I am to be a part of that. And I'm still pretty close with just about all of the graduates. I mean, we still chat and talk, and we still get together, and we still um, have sessions, and sometimes
It's
I'll
our
get stuck on.
micro family.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. And we
It's the
use each other.
micro. Yep.
Yeah, you got it. And I've been honored.
I
I've been
can
so honored for all these people.
yeah. They
And
they
I
have
want,
been, and I've gotten to meet everyone. So
oh,
it's
yes, yes. And I
it's
want to
it's
thank
very
you
cool.
for doing this. A big thank you to you for having the school and
Oh, thank
taking
you.
the chance and allowing this to happen, because I don't know of another place that would have said, yeah, okay, let's do it, whatever. And just jumped off the cliff with me. And so a gigantic thank you, because you also have changed a lot of lives, a lot of animals' lives, in allowing us to do this. And it's forever changed. It's just amazing. So a big thank you that you stuck with it.
Well, I appreciate you putting faith in me and giving me the
Absolutely.
opportunity to take this and soar with it. So, well, on that,
Can't wait.
I know. So we got another class getting ready we're gonna start February, maybe into March,
Yep.
for a class. And so anyone who's interested, future people that are seeing this or watching this, what would you give advice? Any parting thoughts of what they can expect or
So I would tell you that fear is the biggest setback. People don't think they can. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do the animal communication. You don't have to have prior experience. You just have to be willing and open. I don't want to be an attorney. I don't want to be a doctor. I could do anything I want. I just don't want those things. I encourage you to follow the dream. I
Mhm.
encourage you to find out about the program, more information. It's a 4-month program, all online. You get hours with me. We do field trips if we want. And I would tell people, don't let fear set you back. The thought of, can I do it, or I can't do it? And oh my God, I'd love to do that, but it's a gift you have to be born with. Um, I just think more people are available to it and open to it than others. So that's why I tell people, everybody can, um, talk to us about it. Get a hold of me, get a hold of Dara, talk to us about what it entails, what it's like. And some people already know that this is what they want to do. And some people are like, I never even thought of it, but that's so freaking exciting. I want to know more. So
Mhm.
don't let fear hold you back. That's the number one thing I want to let people know about.
That's Yeah,
Great.
and the school is all about seeing dreams come true. We have a
Yes.
program for everyone, whether you are looking to get
Right.
into the industry fresh, we've got
Yep.
something. Continuing education,
Yes.
specializing in
Yeah.
any aspect. So we're not just a grooming school. We are definitely more than a haircut. Let's
Oh,
go with that
much more.
hashtag. We are more than a haircut.
I like that.
So
That
yes, that's one of our hashtags. Actually, Melissa was the one who started that one, because she's very. We'll talk to Melissa later on this month, but holistic wise, she is. You two are our queen holistic instructors for sure.
awesome.
So,
Well, and
well, thank you
thank you.
so much for joining me,
I'm
and
sorry I was
please,
in the truck. Girls with
that's
me. We're
okay.
gonna my dogs. That's Willow.
Mo-
Hi, Wee Wee. And Mocha's in the back. And
Yeah.
so they decided they had to go walk. And I was like, all right, let's go walk. So thank you for letting me be in my vehicle, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. So we will see you on one of the Pet Pro educators coming up in the next few weeks.
Yep, absolutely. I'll be
Yes.
there. Thank
All right.
you, buddy.
Have a great day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And we will see you for our next interview with Jennifer Bishop Jenkins on tomorrow evening,
Awesome.
6:30. So we'll see you there. Have a good day.